W7M will be on their defense as we move our way into the bans to kick this off.
Raining in already, we have that Thatcher ban straight on the lock. No surprises there. He's been a consistent ban so far tonight. And Monty joins him as well now. I'm pretty sure in saying that Monty, that's the third time that we've seen the Montagna banned out. So Latam's certainly getting fed up of the shields so far today. And no surprise after the amount of Clash play that we saw last time around on Villa just being really, really decisive. And Clash is going to join Monty as well. There will be no shields here today, apart from the Blitz, but there's only Hug Zord so far within LATAM that we've seen actually actively used in the Blitz. And Echo, he's going to be the last one on the ban roster. So your bans are in: Thatcher, Montagna, Clash, and Echo. We're heading into Oregon for a really big matchup. The way that I described this earlier, Jackie, was the make or break matchup. And I think that is exactly what FaZe are facing right now.
And I think it's also, you're right, on the flip side as well, because this is also a big break for W7M, right? Like, if they walk away from this and they find themselves victory here, Tim, they are going to be laughing all the way to the bank to deposit the points they will make off of this one, because it will put them into a really good position for the season. It's also going to be a massive confidence boost, because it already seems like they're having a good run. They're going from strength to strength in a lot of the games. It feels like the whole roster's performing well. If you then best FaZe, it's not only besting the 5 players that have a lot of accolades to their name, it's besting a ginormous organization and getting a lot of exposure in terms of your team and your org. W7M will be landed if they get the win here tonight.
Now, looking back to FaZe's previous performance on Oregon, it was Playday 1, it was against MIBR. Now, I think they're probably still going to be having flashbacks to that one, Jackie. If you remember, it was 7-1 on the day, and FaZe, they really struggled. There was only Yuna able to go positive in terms of kills, 8 kills to 7 deaths. Other than that, everybody took way more deaths. Now, Live, he had a terrible day. He went 1-8, really struggled last time out, so they are going to need him to turn up. And as we say, you know, the mental game is an important side of things here, and you just don't know what sort of impact that is going to have. You know that I'm sure they've been scrimming this map since then to make sure that the strats are in place and that they are comfortable with what they're doing, and I'm sure it was probably just an off day for them, but it still is there. It's always that seed of doubt in the back of your mind.
It is. It's a bit worrying as well, because I think Live is definitely one of the big question marks in the roster, where he has had a rocky stage so far. He's not really reached the heights that he was getting into back in stage 1. He was a very effective member of the team. Here's a change though already. Look at this role reversal, Tim. Live, currently on the Maverick, KDS picking up the Ash entry role. This is a complete flip between the two of them. Live now being popped back onto the Maverick, allowing KDS to come in and potentially be the entry fragger. This looks like they have changed roles in the downtime between last week.
Changes needed to be made, that much is for sure. We can see some aggressive play onto the hatch here. We could see a Nitro flying up out of there. I think Live just hears the man underneath, so he decides to dip away. He does not want to eat that Nitro cell as it comes up through the hatch. KDS on the entry is going to get the kill onto Panico. That is exactly what they need from him on the Ash, and that is a great start for FaZe just to settle things down here on Oregon. I think the first kill could be very, very important there, Jackie, because there is that potential nerves coming into the map, given the result last time around, and that might just settle things down. Now we see great play as well, an ice drop there, and sudden aggression from Astro as he will take shots onto Herds, and that will be the man shut down by Astro on the pistol as well with the headshot. 5 versus 3 now.
Hey, that's rough. He's just pistol whipped him into oblivion and given them a major chance to pick this round up. KDS clearly feeling it coming in as well. I'm liking the change. I know it's very early. I know this round isn't even over, but I feel like this has already been a smart decision to make, and we're seeing the early stages of it coming to fruition here. 54 seconds left on the round. W7M, you still have a big possibility of picking this one up, but you've got to hit your shots. You've got to grind it back. You're at a major disadvantage right now. Agree. Gives the game away. Giving up his position, firing out the warning shots. They will respond in kind as Astro. Unloading with a magazine. Talking of unloading, look who pops off. Pedrin and Gui. Freeze now coming into effect. FaZe Clan, they had the round in the palm of their hands, and they've had to grasp at straws to get it back. Astro and Ion barely save it in the dying moments of the round.
FaZe just feel a little bit lucky there. It all sort of started to fall apart in the mid-round. They got that great early start, got themselves a little bit of control around the site, but then felt like they were unable to push forward until forced. And that is something that they need to be careful of. You can't need those couple of deaths to force to think, right, we need to push forward before we lose any more here. You need to be doing that under your own steam and just trying to find those angles and get those extra picks. But ultimately, it doesn't matter how it went down. FaZe get themselves round 1 on the board, and now that's already for W7M as many defensive rounds as they lost the last time they played Oregon. They went 5-1 on the defense, so they were very, very strong. And interestingly, it was a tertiary site, Kitchen Dining. That was the only site that they actually lost on defensively last time around. So that is a good start for FaZe. 2 for 2 last time W7M were defensively down in Laundry and Basement, and they've already been shut down.
It's nice. It's a good start. I'm happy to see that this is actually being stuck with as well. It wasn't just a one-off. It wasn't a round that was thrown into the mix, right? Where obviously, you know, KDS was just like, look, I'm feeling it in this round. They played off tempo or just, you know, playing off the decision-making there. It does seem like this is a raw change. I'm really happy we've seen this, Tim. Something needed to happen, right? Live season, it's been a bit of a struggle. I think it's fair to say, so far throughout stage 1, he just hasn't really been able to perform in the role that he had been dropped into. Wasn't hitting those entries, wasn't being able to step up to the mark. KDS as well, we didn't really see his fragging potential. He was effectively on the Maverick pretty much every time we've seen him play, whereas now he's been put into a role where he can run and gun a little bit. He can afford to take risks, be let off the leash, and not conform to what FaZe need him to do so much. This is the dream, Tim. We spoke about this all the way back on the first play day, right, where we said, has he been brought into the team and just plopped into a role, or are they trying to restructure the team around him? This is a smart decision.
And sometimes you have to take those big decisions, Shaki. You have to look at it and think, right, exactly, you know, what has gone wrong previously, what is not working for us, and you have to be willing to make big changes and to give players those opportunities to feel comfortable as well. As you say, you know, if Live wasn't happy with what he was doing or how it was going, then potentially you start banging your head against the wall and you're always going to struggle to get the most out of him. But the switch up so far, although only 1 round in, does look certainly better. It looks immediately better than we have seen FaZe look so far. They have not looked that aggressive. They have not looked in control at any point realistically. Now, I'm not sure exactly what Freezow is doing there. He's trying to get in a cheeky reinforce, but Astro is well alive to that and shuts him down, and that is another good start for FaZe.
Like, I get it. You know, it is one of those gamble plays you've gone for where, yeah, you get the reinforcement off, solid, it's worked out well, but it's such a risk to throw away a life like that, especially this late into the round when they hadn't found an early entry kill yet. Seems a bit silly, Tim, and now it's left them into this position. With 1 minute and 27 seconds on the clock, you're now in a 4 versus 5, rather than having the full roster alive and kicking, and more of their vital signs are getting dropped as another man gets down. Panico shot into the back of the head, but Pendulum replies, finding the frag onto KDS, leaving it hanging in the balance. Herds, that was your opportunity. If you could have got the kill on the doorway, maybe there was a chance, but bit by bit, it all falls to pieces, and look who steps up to the mark. Live in the final moments, getting a 2k to secure the deal for FaZe Clan. A lovely little round, and this actually starts to go the way it seems the fan vote has gone. We ran a poll for this one, Tim, and it was 79% voting for FaZe to pick up the win on Oregon. That's 15% for W7M.
A lot of people sticking with the faith in FaZe. We know that they have a lot of fans. The FaZe clan is sizable to say the least, and they certainly believe in their players, and right now it's looking like it's well-placed faith because 2-0 on the board and FaZe are looking electric. I feel like in round number 2 there, W7M maybe got a little bit overly aggressive, Jackie. We just saw them peaking a couple of angles and just losing lives very, very quickly and cheaply, to be honest, and going for that late reinforcement. As you say, it's a gamble play, but was it worth the risk? You know, ultimately, is it going to hold them at bay for that long when you know that they've got a hard breach against you anyway? The wall is likely to get opened up. It just feels like there wasn't really too much reward for the size of the risk.
No, yeah. It's one of those where it does seem like, again, you go for it, 9 times out of 10, you probably are just going to get shot in the face, right? It's such an exposed reinforcement, so easy to get the shot off. Also, that's the second kill we've seen Astro now pick up with a pistol. A bit of a sidearm stunner, it seems, Tim.
Certainly looks that way, and Astro, he's on that as a fear. We've seen him 20% of the time going on the Zofia, more commonly on the Hibana. But as you say, just this shift between, I think, Live and KDS, which has been pretty much a direct swap, as you said, Jackie.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Live was pretty much 100% Ash and vice versa. So it's interesting to see how it impacts on the other team members. It doesn't really need to. They can continue doing what they've been doing, and hopefully that switch will just be a bit of a livener for both KDS and Live, and it's certainly seeming to pay dividends so far. Now we've got Freezo just getting droned out on those freezer stairs. He's going to probably back down to the bottom of them and just get that shotgun out, try to play the close angle there. That's exactly what he does. But FaZe, they're going to be more than confident pushing here. They had a great first round on Laundry, and they were able to just pick W7M apart at will, really. And right now, they've got themselves established. They've surrounded site. They're looking for a freezer push, going towards main lobby once again, I think, as well. Doesn't look like W7M are learning too much. It's a lot more possible to get late reinforcement off when you're moving out of the bunker side, but still a risk nonetheless.
They really have been risking it for a biscuit so far. I don't know, they weren't really going for a lot of these plays previously. I don't know if it's potentially overconfidence coming into this one, or just a couple of stray mistakes that have got us scratching our heads a little bit. But at least for now, in the third round, they do have all 5 alive. And we're down to about 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the clock on this one. Bit by bit, FaZe Clan, they've been poking and prodding in a couple of different areas of the map. And obviously, that's what you need to do. If you can establish control here, you've got so many entry points. You can push in late, split and pick, and effectively go for a 3-pronged attack onto the site in the late round. They've been using a lot of that utility as well to burn out ADSs, try and use up all of those one-wire magnets, get reconnaissance. Yuna, though, he doesn't just want info, he wants kills. And he'll find the initial pick, taking down Panico. Padron replies in kind, though, shutting down KDS on the stairway. Yuna gets gunned as well, and here comes Live. Unfortunately, in the meantime, Astro, he's been laid to rest, and it's not looking good for the side of FaZe. Outnumbered and possibly outgunned. Oh, Ion knocked off his feet, jumped into the air by Freezow with Big Papa Pump, the shotty that was locked and loaded, and it certainly sent him flying.
More gunfights won by W7M that time, just starting to build the confidence into the game a little bit, I think, just start picking up those shots. Now, FaZe, they need to be careful on losing men to the same angles. They lost one to the prone smoke with the shotgun in exactly that same location last time around, so you have to expect coming around the corner that you might well face off to the prone smoke. And I think just maybe dip a little bit deeper. He was right up against that hard angle on the corner. I think maybe just try and put a bit more distance in between yourself. Ion, ultimately, he was the last alive. It was a big job for him to complete, but I think just by being further back against the wall, furthest from the door, you just give yourself the most opportunity, knowing that you're probably challenging into a shotgun there. It's all about distance at that point if you want to be able to survive and not get hit with that one shot to the chest that is going to finish things off for you very, very quickly. Now, heading back up to dorms in round number 2, we saw this site, in round number 4, we saw this site back in round 2. FaZe were successful, and they got the win here. Again, W7M were never really anywhere near closing this one out. They just got overly aggressive. They lost a lot of gunfights, particularly onto that master balcony and the closet area, and also the armory corridor door. So you need to be a little bit careful, a little bit more patient, I think, this time around.
5 seconds to insertion.
W7M, hopefully we've seen the last of the crazy mistakes. Ooh, the Valkyrie play, just getting it off there before we would have got revealed, so you get that camera out, hopefully in the location that you wanted it to land, so we can get the clear read across. And then obviously him or her is probably most likely going to be the ones to go for a bit of a risky play if they want to chance it. In terms of what we've got coming out from FaZe Clan, KDS, straight on the solo mission. This man is on a mission. You can tell. Beelining it over and looking for an early frag. Herd seems to have been the one that has gone for the power play, though. Probably relayed off the information there. He's gone for the swing, found the pick onto Astro, and guaranteed an opening frag for W7M. Obviously, this does flip things a little bit and give favour to them in the early game. You can super turtle up now if you want to. You can really draw in the pace of the game. You don't necessarily have to go for an overextension or a peak. You can play towards sight, hold crossfires. And if they hit their shots, they've practically won the round from that point forward.
First time we've really had cause to shout out Herds' name here, and that's another big factor for W7M. They really need that man to get himself rolling. Last time we saw them play on Oregon, he came out with 20 kills in one map. Absolutely went ham, did Herds, and just whitewashed the other team pretty much single-handedly. So I'm sure W7M will be keen to see him start really getting himself firing. It's his second on the round. Second on the game, but he'll be looking for more, I'm sure. And right now, utility starting to rein in. You can see Ace just opening up that master wall, and Live trying to push forward there and just get as many angles as possible onto the site, just helping his players to get established inside master bedroom. And Herds is looking to get aggressive onto that armory door, and he lost his life here last time around. Needs to be careful once again. Looks like FaZe Clan are looking to get aggressive in towards Trophy.
Coming up close towards that final 60 seconds of the round. For FaZe Clan, obviously being a man down, it restricts a lot of what you can do. That is a bold move from Herds, though. He really was taking the mickey in that one, and finally gets punished because of it. KDS getting the angle across him with the opening into the soft wall, so he can barely spot him out and take him down. Bit of a rotation coming out there as we see a player last dropping through the hatch and potentially looking for a bit of a backstab. FaZe, you're leaving yourself with not too much time to make this one happen, though. Down to 40 seconds. Yuna, he's on the site, and he's got to crack that diffuser open and get it down by the pool table. KDS with another frag into the round, really outgunning the opposition, and it's looking beautiful so far for them. Unfortunately, trapped between a rock and a hard place, gambles to push his way back through the Sanguine Arsenic and dies in a puff of smoke. Ion coming in with a buck to shut down Freezow, and it's all left on one man, the Wamai, in a 1v3. Angle is held as soon as he peeks round. Even if he gets the kill, he should be dropped. They give him a fighting chance though, Tim. He clears the corner, finds the peak, nearly gets the follow-up frag. It would have been a 1v3 clutch, but Ion spots him on the buck and says you're out of luck.
So close, Agi on the 1v3 there. Just came in, as you say, very much down to the last man, 1 versus 1. He had one down, so that had already been started for him. Yuna was, of course, down but not out at that point. Still, the shot onto the Maverick at the close angle was really clean from Guy. And ultimately, FaZe able to get in. And I think there's not been enough downstairs presence for W7M there on the Dorm site. I always like to see the option. We saw the Wamai drop down underneath, but obviously Wamai very limited in terms of options, being able to have any sort of impact vertically on a plant where you've got a Valkyrie on the board who has a Nitro. Get her playing underneath in the late round. Have that opportunity to deny that plant. We've seen it done successfully a number of times, but KDS was able to just shut down the Valkyrie without any problems whatsoever, and he moved out and just tried to impact on that plant. But round 4, we find ourselves going in favour of FaZe, and they now sit 3-1 on the scoreboard, and this is much more what we have expected from FaZe all along.
Oh, it's a million times better. It also feels like the pressure for Live to not be on the entry anymore, where he has to perform in the early round, where he can afford to go back to his roots and play a little bit slower in the late round, where we know he can consistently hit shots. He's doing that again. It's worked out wonders for both of them. KDS, when he has been given an opportunity to find those critical kills as well, he has. There's been at least 2 rounds where he's been able to get good openers on the board. It's been nice. Looks like, again for W7M though, they want to try and use the aggression against FaZe and play a tenacious attacking side. Ooh, a couple of seconds of difference there, and that could have been a bang straight through the reinforcement into the noggin of KDS, Tim.
It's one of those that you just try round after round after round, and it's probably, you know, 1 in 300 rounds it comes off. But if it is the round where it happens, you are left with a big smile on your face. But I'm sure that the attackers will be glad that that did not happen that time around. Valkyrie just using those black eye cams, just trying to gather any intel, any information that there is available right now. Just try and get an idea exactly where this push is coming from. Heading towards kitchen and dining. Showers is usually a very important location. We've seen Padrin be completely dominant on this site previously, but hasn't brought his ACOG along this time around. Usually will play an ACOG. It's been a dock previously on a long angle out of showers and done a fantastic job, but chooses not to this time, and it looks like FaZe are pushing in from the opposite side anyway. They've got themselves established into meeting there. It looks like the focus of their attack is going to be attic initially and then towards kitchen.
Herds rattling off bullet after bullet. pumping out the steel and hoping that one of them would connect to shut a man down. It's a bit of a pixel peek if he wants to run the risk of going for it, and he hits it. Oh, the pixel sniffer himself on a filthy Kurt angle gets the kill, but the same could be said for Live, responding with a vertical shot, a hurty-verty indeed, as it slaps him upside the head, drops Herds, and this round keeps on giving for Live. Another frag is found. A bludgeoning headshot there onto Panico, as he will certainly mute the mute and leave W7M in a horrible position, Tim. 2 players alive, nowhere near sight, effectively giving it up. They have to retake their own bomb site at this point, and it is not looking good for them. Astro with a clean-up kill onto Freeze Out. It's all down to the Valkyrie towards the stairwell. He will find one, but that might be the only frag he gets. If he gets any more, they're not really going to be impact frags, and KDS has a perfect positional play, second guesses himself as he walks down the stairs, and KDS will clean it up.
It's looking easy for FaZe at the moment. It certainly appears as if they've got the jump start that they needed to get the engine running, Jackie. And now that they've started to get some traction, I am sure that they will continue fighting their way back into this stage to head for the major. They are looking very, very solid so far here on Oregon. It's going to be difficult from here. 4-1 now, W7M facing. And for me, this is one of the first real challenges that they've had. The first time that they've really found themselves on the wrong end of a little bit of a beating so far.
Yeah, that was naughty. This kill was actually pretty ridiculous, right? Like, genuine pixel pin use. Back into the action on Oregon. If you're just joining us, these are the scores on the doors. It is a 4-1 split so far. Very one-sided to FaZe Clan that have been on point on their attack, Tim.
Oh, they've looked just like absolute demons today compared to what we've seen so far. They've been coming in, they've been securing kills, they've been completely surrounding site, they've been executing very well, they've just been shutting W7M down at every single turn. Whether W7M have tried to aggress onto them, as we saw in round 2, FaZe were able to deal with that and shut them down. When W7M have played a little bit more passively, like they did in round 4, it just hasn't really made any difference whatsoever to FaZe. They are here to play, they're here to win, and whatever gets put in front of them right now, they are just washing it away.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Here we go. Back into the action now. Strap in for this one, especially all the W7M fans that were out there. I know looking at the start, Tim, I gave the bold call. I said I reckon FaZe, they're going to be bested today. I didn't think they'd be able to win this bout, but they've already impressed me with the 5 rounds we've seen so far. They've looked way better. It seems like they're starting to look more like their former selves. We knew that there was going to be damage done to the team with Mab's departure, but at least now they've started to settle in and found their footing. Let's see if they can maintain it or if they will be knocked over and stumble into this one. I'm curious to see more aggression as well from W7M. Obviously, they were running the risk fairly early on. We had Herds. He was on the Jaeger. He was going for some of those wide swings off the back of the Valkyrie cams that were put out. No Valkyrie in play this time. Herds instead coming off Jaeger and going on Wamai. It's not as worth him going for those early aggressive plays. Obviously, those Wamai discs, you got to wait for him to recharge, or you're just not going to have any magnets if you go for a bold play in the early round.
That's it, you can't be losing him, much like you smoke. You've got to think about those sort of time-based utility operators and keeping them alive into the late round, because A, the gadgets can be very important, and B, you get fewer of them if you lose them, as you say, Jackie. Now, we can see quick progress being made inside the map from Astro there. He's just going to pick up those couple of default cameras and just start gaining a little bit of access towards site, just opening up that barricade leading down the laundry stairs. And aggression here from FaZe all round, really, as the pressure starts to mount onto the freezer entry as well. They start to move down. They've already forced the man back away. They've burnt the ADSs, and that is going to start giving them access down the stairs. And the drones are raining in, and I'm sure it won't be too long at all before FaZe know that the path ahead is clear. Now then, 2 at rear stage. They're going to look to move downstairs and apply pressure to pillars. So far, so good for FaZe. W7M, they're about to start feeling like they're in a vice.
Ooh. And that's never good. If you're in a vice, it can be quite painful. There'll be a lot of pressure applied. So let's see how well they can contend with the pressure. Will it turn them into a diamond, or will they shatter like a ceramic object that definitely should never be put into a vice? Time will tell in the round so far. We've got about 1 minute and 25 seconds left into this one, and FaZe have been slowly encroaching further forward, bit by bit, taking inches of map control at a time, not trying to overstep the mark When they do want to go for the execution, though, they're going to need to be on point. They've got a lot of utility coming into this, though, with the operator picks. Obviously, bringing the Ying out this time around. Issue is, you can have all the utility in the world, but if your face gets blown off by a shotgun on a close angle, it will not matter. And that's why I'm looking at FaZe. All 3 of those canisters remaining, trying to dash them out. One of them going to get zapped clean out the air, gets the follow-up onto the second as he will be able to get it down. Holding strong for now, and at least buying a bit of time for his team. Live going for the bold play of pushing up through it and tanking it, taking it all on the chin. Gas mask in tow. Ying nearly going down as well, but the first frag does go their way. Issue is, here's the follow-ups, Tim. 2 back in favor at the side of W7M, leaving us into a 3 versus 2. Pedrin is low on the Kaid, and Panico still fighting strong. Equalizes, 2 versus 2. Astro and Live, the last 2 remaining members, drop from behind the shield and drop clean out of the server. Panico, do not panic. Keep your composure. 17 seconds left in a 1 versus 2 on the Jaeger. Is this man a yester, or will he be able to clutch it out as he peeks onto the doorway but misses the opening shot? Being flanked from the left, it won't matter. He won't arrive in time, but Live will end his life as FaZe Clan get a critical round.
Great adjustment at the end of the round there, just to get the pinch onto the Jaeger. As soon as they knew that he was locked in playing at pillars, you saw Live just move one way and the other man separate and just create that pinch moving through sight, and just made it so that Panico had absolutely nowhere to go. Not a turn to make, nothing to hide behind, and he was shut down in 5-1 on the hard. Signals what I think will be the start of a quick FaZe win here. They get themselves onto the defense now, and that is a scary prospect. W7M coming in and having to find rounds on the attack here, Jackie. Quite often we see on Oregon the defenders taking the advantage and coming through, putting rounds on the board. W7M were unable to do that, but I think round number 6 there, that last attack coming in from FaZe, shows exactly why. It was clinical, no two ways about it. The aggression was timed well. It was brought forward from multiple angles at the same time. It was just so difficult for W7M to deal with.
Great stuff. Definitely keeping them on their toes. At this point, spreading the load very well off the back of the rehost. That round, nearly a team ace coming out from FaZe Clan. They all would have taken a frag apiece, but Live had to double down with 2 of his own. Now, of course, off the back of the side swap, let's see how it works out. Another opportunity to get another glimpse at Malusi as well, Tim. And this is one of the maps I think we both agreed on, that she has a lot of potential with those Banshees.
It can be a very oppressive gadget. We've seen it used very well here on Oregon. Of course, for anybody who doesn't know how the Banshee works, once you get within a radius of it, it will slow you down as an attacker by 25% and will also emit a nice sound to let the defenders know that you are approaching. As you get closer to it, it will slow you by 50%, so it does have a big impact. And there's only a few ways to clear that out, and that is by using a gadget such as Asher's breaching charge, very similar to a Maestro camera. Shooting it will do absolutely nothing, or you can go up close enough to it to be able to use your melee attack, but obviously very difficult to get that close when you're suffering that serious slowing effect that it will apply to you. Now we can see some early progress here, but interestingly, the Selma will be impact naded, I think, off the closet wall there, so there is not going to be a hole open big enough to actually move through. Right now it is nothing more than a peek hole, and we can see some aggression from Astro here. He's surely going to get one. He misses a lot of shots, but eventually manages to put Padron in the dirt, and that is going to be the ace off the board. I think his job was done, and closet wall, it's not open very well, Jackie, not very well at all.
Not ideal. This could certainly come back to haunt them in the late round. Live nearly being left as a ghost. It's that encounter as the nade gets dropped in through the window. He has to back off to try and stay alive and kicking. Herds, he could cause a little bit of a mockery here, blowing the floorboards up. The reaction shot comes out, it's a little bit too slow. He knows he's towards the stairwell, and he plays it perfectly. G360 later as he clears into that one, landing the headshot and dispatching another man. That was a lovely frag to pick up, Tim, with the support of Guy. And this leaves us here in a bit of an awkward spot as Live He's taken it directly on the chin. I'm surprised he even has a chin at this point. It should have been knocked off alongside the connection. That is rough. It's a 4 versus 4, but look at the difference in sustainability. The health bars of W7M are ginormous compared to what FaZe Clan have to play with. Their sustainability is at an all-time low, but luckily they've still got utility. Dashing it out to slow down the course of the round. As time ticks by, getting closer and closer to 40 seconds, they have to make a hero play. But the only hero plays are going towards W7M. Freeze out. He sprints in, guns down live, and leaves them in a 4 versus 3.
Starts to get the diffuser down, but has to back off as the kills start to rain in. Astro gets himself 2 more on the round. That's 3 overall. Ion steps up to support, and ultimately it's Astro with a 4K to shut things down on the round. Round 7 goes in the books. It's 6-1 now, and a guaranteed draw here on Oregon for FaZe. They are really phasing up. They are stepping up, and they are shutting W7M down.
Oh, mate. They are not phased whatsoever by a single inch of what W7M have been bringing to the table today. In a round where, once again, it seemed like they started to pick up the pieces, they had a grasp on it. In the final few moments, it falls to bits because of the individual play from FaZe Clan. The team is looking so much better again. And this is crazy as well because W7M, this season, they have been having a great run. They look so much better than they did back in Stage 1, and they still look damn good in Stage 1. That's why this result is fairly impressive because FaZe, they have not been themselves for quite some time. Now it finally feels like they've seen the light, they've woken up, they've made the necessary changes, and they are hitting their shots, Tim. The roster has clearly woken up on the right side of the bed this morning.
Well, FaZe, they just look like there's nothing that they can do wrong today, Jackie. It's a complete difference. It's absolute night and day from what we've seen from them previously. Live there, taking a grenade basically to the face. He just managed to eat that like it was some sort of spicy meatball. He's got it down there, and nope, that's absolutely fine. I can stomach that one, boys, and on he goes. And that really just sums up FaZe's performance here on Oregon, where W7M have got themselves close to frags. They've never just quite been able to get themselves over that line, rarely managing to get themselves close to winning rounds, where FaZe, they've just been super solid. They've been shutting down every angle, getting every kill. And where it goes 50-50, they find a way. Astro moving out onto the balcony. There was a lot of shots missed there, Jackie, but he still comes away with the kill. They can't give that up that easily. Padrin on the ace. He's got a great gun in the AK. He needs to be able to slay with that and shut him down.
It's so rough. Ooh. All right. Talking of rough, that is a rude awakening here into what could very well be the final round between FaZe and W7M. Ion, he bites off far more than he can chew in the early encounter, gets slapped about by the bullets, and is left down below 50 HP. It seemed like that was going to be a kill for Herds, but he's not come out on top. In fact, he's been ruined, absolutely decimated there by KDS on the response from the Wamai, bludgeoning him, Tim, and leaving them with a ginormous advantage into this round already. FaZe Clan on the defense, quite a tenacious defense at that, because they are playing so aggressive and they're getting away with it. They double up, they play together with a buddy system. If you went down, there would have been a trade. Trade wasn't necessary, as they just outright ruin Herds. Give themselves a large lead now into this round, Tim. 2 minutes left to work with. W7M down into a 4 versus 5. Ion and Astro are both low, but you need to get something in your side of the map soon.
It's just the same problem for W7M again, isn't it? Just absolutely nothing going right. On a different day, Herds peeks that corner. He's 1v1, and he comes away with the kill. It's a nice entry frag. But you can just imagine his face as he pops round the corner, and there's not one, but there's two, and they come in from opposite sides of the corridor. There is absolutely nothing he can do to challenge onto both of them, and at that point, you just sort of know that it's going to be one of those days. It's just that terrible timing, and terrible timing for Freezow as he steps out in front of Yuna, who hits him with the shotgun. Absolutely shuts him down, and that leaves us now 5 versus 3. Maverick and Ash off the board. Padrin taking damage. It's all going in the direction of FaZe Clan here. Surely this is not long. Surely this is just a matter of time here in round 8 before FaZe shut this down in quick fashion. We can see the confidence coming out of them. Yuna, he's willing to just get aggressive and take the challenge on Freezer Stairs. He will down Padrin, but be shut down by Guy, who as of yet I don't think has been quite brave enough to pick up his man. They know that they're being challenged, but they will get a second down now going on to Ion. That leaves them 3 versus 3 and able to collect the downed man. So now then, we are squared away. 3 versus 3. Big duo coming in. Padrin Panic or the Punishers will shut down 2. 3 versus 2. 30 seconds to go.
The peek around the corner, barely finding their way down the stairway, but Live, he has it all to do. This could be the clutch of the game. If he finds more frags here, KDS assisting him, this dynamic duo, clutching at straws, but making it all come away with their victory. It's down to Gui, the Nomad. No signs of life, as KDS will leave him with lacerations, finishing off the round and finishing off the map. Oregon goes the way of FaZe Clan. A very decisive victory, dropping 1 round throughout the entire run.
I love that KDS and Live have been the one to change over roles, and how many times have we just seen them double up their jacket, support each other, have each other's backs, and come out on top of tough situations. It's been a great performance from them as a duo there, and it just goes to show